This is the Sports Club episode 3. I'm Rashid Parchment. Thank you for joining me. Wherever you're joining from, whenever you're joining me, whether it's in the morning, evening, or afternoon, thank you so much. Do the good stuff and like, comment, share this video. But before we go on, I just want to say, I'm glad to be back. This is my second episode here. Daniel is not here, but I assure you, I didn't tie him up and put him in a closet somewhere. Trust me, I didn't. Anyway, this week, we're going to get into 3 main things that happened in sports globally. The first thing is the Ballon d'Or, the most prestigious prize in all of football. And everyone was expecting Real Madrid's Vinicius Jr. to win that award, but it actually went to who I thought would win, Man City midfielder Rodri. He's the first Spanish player to win the award since 1960. So it's a big deal for him, and a lot of people have been surprised by it. I can't say I am. Rodri has been outstanding over the last year and a half for Manchester City and for Spain. And just like Vinicius Jr., he's won a lot of trophies. And 2 of the main trophies he won last season were the English Premier League trophy and, of course, the Euro Championship with Spain. Vinicius Jr. won the Champions League and he scored in the Champions League final. But I think the European win is what pipped Rodri to what took Rodri to that title over Vinicius, because Vinicius played for Brazil and everybody was thinking before the summer, before Euro started, that it was between Vinicius, who finished second, and Jude Bellingham of England, also Vinicius' Real Madrid teammate, that he would get in the mix for that Ballon d'Or prize. And everybody thought it would come down to those 2 footballers, but Rodri actually beat them. And up until the Euros, everyone said that the determination for the Ballon d'Or prize would be the Euro tournament, and whether Bellingham wins it with England or Vinicius wins Copa America, the South American version of the European Championships, with Brazil. But Brazil did not do well in the South American Championships, in the Copa America. So Spain won, and while Lamine Yamal was their outstanding star player, that youngster there, it went to Rodri as the most valuable player of that tournament, and Rodri was also named the Premier League Team of the Year. So it's no surprise to me that he won that trophy. But, something I don't like is how Real Madrid acted about it, because Real Madrid did not show up for the award ceremony. They in fact boycotted it and said they were going to boycott because Real Madrid is being overlooked for the major prizes. And for one, I can't say I agree with that, because Carlo Ancelotti, who is Real Madrid's manager, was also a winner on the night. He won the Coach of the Year award. Of course, as I mentioned, they won the Champions League award, and Ancelotti was the one who guided them to it. But why I don't like it is Madrid is being a big crybaby about it. Apart from Ancelotti winning, as I just mentioned, this award is not selected by a panel. It's not just a group of people sitting around a table and saying, who do you think is the best footballer? And everybody come to a unanimous decision. The decision is made by casting of votes. 100 votes to be total from 100 journalists around the world. And the journalists are picked from countries in the FIFA World Rankings based on the 100. All right, so the 100 top teams in the FIFA World Rankings, 1 journalist from each of those countries gets to cast 3 votes. So you pick your top 3, and then based on all those votes, they work out the winner. And it just turned out that it was Rodri who won first place, Vinny second, and Jude Bellingham third. So when it's a voting criteria, how can you say there's bias there? I mean, unless you're trying to suggest that the Ballon d'Or organizers went around and paid everybody, and I don't think that happened. So why would you be saying that you're boycotting the ceremony just because your player didn't win? Vinicius is still a young player. I think he has a Ballon d'Or in his future, maybe more than 1 Ballon d'Or. So who is to say that he won't win another time? So if you're going to be doing this, it's not a good look for your club. And I've always said I like Real Madrid, or they carry themselves. I know a lot of people don't like them. They don't like the dominance of Real Madrid. But I think for a club of that stature, they don't tend to bully teams or bully other organizations to get their way. So I've always held them as a classy club, but this time I'm calling them out and saying they're kind of being crybabies about this. But as I mentioned, it was a night of awards, and Lamine Yamal won the Young Player Award, and a Spanish player as well won the Women's Award. Her name is another Spanish player, Aitana Bonmati, and it's her second Ballon d'Or win. She followed up Pucella as another Spanish winner of the competition. So it's a good look for Spain. It's a great year for Spain because they won the Euro. They're the Women's World Cup champions from the year before. And now both men are, the men's and women's Ballon d'Or titles went to Spanish players. So it's a good look for Spain this time. But yeah, Real Madrid, no, I don't like that. At better. We move on from there to the Grand Slam Track League. You know, former world 200-meter record holder Michael Johnson, who many Jamaicans look at as the precursor to Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt is someone that look up to him as well, the current world record holder. Well, now Michael Johnson is launching his own track and field league called the Grand Slam Track League. And this league is supposed to be challenging the Diamond League in terms of prestige. And what it's meant to do is create teams or clubs of athletes to compete against each other. So it's interesting in its concept, and it should be starting in, I think, a couple seasons. And the talk about it is whether it can upstage a Diamond League. Now, the first thing we have to talk about with that is money, because nobody is going to go and leave the Diamond League to compete for less money. The Diamond League typically pays out athletes about $30,000 US. And what Michael Johnson is presenting here is a league where winners will earn about $100,000. So it's $70,000 more than the Diamond League. And yeah, a lot of people are skeptical about it. And I have my doubts too, and I'll say why in a minute. But this league, it has 4 what they call Grand Slams from April to September. And it will have 8 athletes competing in one of 12 events. There are a couple big names down for this already. Sydney McLaughlin Levron, she's a 400-meter hurdles record holder from the United States. She's broken her own record about 5 different times, the last being at the Olympics. She's one of the big names down for it. And Jamaica's own Russell Clayton, a 400-meter bronze medal winner at 2 World Championships back in 2019 and also in last year in Budapest, Hungary. She is also down for this meet and for this series of meets. And it's a good look. And you have to remember now, Michael Johnson is an American. The United States of America hosts the next Olympic Games in 2028 in Los Angeles. And I think one of the main reasons why this league is getting going is because they want to popularize track and field in America. I remember speaking to Glenn Mills about last year about why the big stars in track and field, they think of Shelley and Fraser-Price, even Usain Bolt himself, Noah Lyles, why although they are the poster people for track and field, they're still not regarded as like LeBron James or Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer in terms of global sports. And he said it's because of how much they earn or how much they're not earning. Track and field is a famous sport, but it's not as famous as football, basketball, NFL. And as such, the sponsors flock to those sports more than track and field. So naturally, it means those athletes earn more money. And they've been always looking at ways to incentivize track and field more and make it more profitable. And I think this is a good step. If the United States is hosting the Olympic Games, then this means that you have an avenue to push track and field in the US market. And I think with Michael Johnson, with his affiliation with NBC Sports, you might see them come on as a broadcast sponsor, maybe somebody else like them. And you know, you're going to be getting those mainstream American brands on board as sponsors in this. So the aim is to make track and field more of a household sport in America. Cricket is trying the same. It's going to take a lot of years, and I think the same for track and field. It's going to take a lot of years, but it's a start. And when you have the Olympic Games coming to America next, people are thinking that one of the main things about the Olympic Games is track and field. So if you're going to be pushing track and field in the few years before the Olympic Games, you could have it be more popular. And if it's more popular, then athletes can have a chance to do more endorsement deals with some of the brands that may come on board and earn them more money. So it's a good look there. Some of the events that they say that will be taking place are the long sprints and the 200 meters and the 400 meters in that regard. And you'll have also the 400 meter hurdles, as well as the short distance, the middle distance races, the 800 meters and the 1500 meters, as well as the 3000 meters and 5000 meters. But here's my thing. We've seen this tried before, it didn't work. You think about the Nitro Series in Australia back in 2017, where Usain Bolt and Asaf Apoel went over there and formed a team with Jenna Prandini and some other big names. And it lasted for a few months, but then while everybody tuned in to see what it was about, over time, people lost interest. And I hope this is not the same that will happen with the Grand Slam track and field league by Michael Jordan. But he's somebody who knows what he's doing. He's been around track and field long enough, and he's been a part of a lot of boards involving organizing track and field events and been a part of World Athletics. So I know that he will be doing something different. I don't know what yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing what comes there. But one of the big reasons why I don't think it will ever surpass the Diamond League is because the Diamond League is World Athletics' own meet. And if it's their own meet, then they can make it more attractive to athletes to bring them there. And what I mean is that the Diamond League is one of those meets that can qualify you for the World Championships. And every athlete, although you want to be an Olympic gold medalist, you also want to be a World Champion gold medalist too. And if the Diamond League can qualify you for the World Championships, which the Grand Slam track meet cannot, then the Diamond League will have an advantage over the Grand Slam League, I think. And of course, World Athletics still has all the big sponsors. And you have to give credit to World Athletics too, because Lord Sebastian Coe, he's the president of World Athletics, and maybe soon he said he's interested in the role of International Olympic Committee president. What he has been doing over the last 2 years is he's a former athlete himself. He's been trying to make more money come into the sport for athletes to earn, because he knows that one of the big struggles of athletics is getting more people on board to get money in. So he's been doing that, and he brought money to the Olympic Games recently. For track and field, athletes, winners of events were earning money. And he said for the next Olympic Games, track athletes, once you make a final, once you're on the podium, you will earn a set amount. And once you get into the final, there will be an incentive for you too. So World Athletics is constantly moving to improve how athletes are paid. And I think if they continue, then the Grand Slam League will have a little challenge, even though it's offering more money. But also, the Grand Slam League cannot compete in terms of prestige. It's a new league. World Athletics Diamond League means something to win. The Grand Slam League will take a little time to get people wanting to win it. And yet, it's not, as I said, it's not the first time it's happened. I mentioned the Nitro League, and I remember back in 2018, there was this new league called I think it was the World Continental Series, the World Cup of track and field, and it lasted only a season, and it fizzled out. So I'm just hoping that this doesn't happen here again. Another major thing that happened this week in sports was the unveiling of a statue by Miami Heat for Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade is, one of their legends. He brought them many NBA titles, and when statues get unveiled, it draws a lot of attention, whether good or bad. It's polarizing. A lot of people have a lot to say on it. And funnily enough, when I saw the statue, I thought it was a statue of Thor from the Avengers, because it was so wide, the mouth was so open. I was like, this don't look like Dwayne Wade. But at the same time, you have to respect Miami Heat for honoring Wade. They give him a statue. A lot of athletes don't have statues of themselves. I complained about it last week with George Roden, if you watch that episode. So it's good that he got his statue, but a lot of people are saying it doesn't look like him. And some people joking that it needs a skirt to look like him, but we're not getting into that. One of the persons who was involved in making the statue, Oscar Leon, he's a sculptor. He said that the concept started with a collection of photos of Wade that were turned into a clay model. And the photo he took was with Wade posing like this, something like this, and shouting, "This is my house." It happened in the NBA final in 2009 when he brought them that title. So that was the image he used. But then I was thinking about it, and I was talking to people about it, and we always, even here in Jamaica, we talk about statues. Remember the statue unveiled for Usain Bolt, one for Shelly and Fraser Price, Veronica Campbell-Brown, and one for Asafa Powell. And when those individual statues were unveiled each time, a lot of people were saying it don't look like them. But there's a lot of work that goes into a statue, and people are saying we're in 2024, we're in the modern age. Why not use computers and lasers to get more accurate images, especially of faces of athletes? But I was thinking that too, and I looked, and based on what Mr. Leon is saying, that they did use computers to help to render these images, because he said these images, Leon says they received input from Wade's closest friends and Miami Heat executives before signing off on the statue. To the critics, there's a lot that needs to be understood. He said, "We have to seal everything to keep the integrity of the sculpture. However, that does create a funny little side effect of being glossy in areas that we are not used to seeing when we look at somebody in the flesh. So what he's saying is that he admits that the statue does not look 100% accurate, or it doesn't look completely like Dwayne Wade. But the reason for that is just the technology, what they use, and the oils and all of that they use. It comes out a little too glossy. So maybe what we're seeing is that we need just a little more time for technology to get to that stage where the statue can look a lot more like those athletes. But I mean, it could have looked a lot worse. Overall, the body does look like him. I think if you look at the facial features, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, it looks like Wade. But my problem is just that the face is just too wide. And it could have been a lot worse, because you think of some other major statues that were unveiled in the last decade. I mentioned the Jamaicans. But the worst statue I've seen was the one unveiled of Cristiano Ronaldo. It looked like somebody made it out of, I don't know, gum or putty and then stepped in it. That's how bad it looked to me. But I want to know your thoughts. So tell me how you feel about the statue itself, whether you think it looks like him or not. And I want to also hear your thoughts on what I said about the Ballon d'Or. Do you think Vinicius should have won, or are you surprised he didn't win, or are you satisfied that Roger won? I also want to hear your thoughts on the Grand Slam Track League. So that has been the episode for this week. Thank you for joining me. Remember to leave your comments down below, and also share this video so we can get some good discussion around it again. I've been Rashid Parchment, and this has been the Sports Club episode 3. Thank you.